Assalamualaikum everyone. Today's topic is enlargement, which comes under transformation. So we have already done it in the classroom, but for the activity in your interactive notebook, this is what you have to do. So listen to the video very carefully and follow the instructions given here. Okay. So first of all, at the top of your page, write the topic name, transformation, and then same as before what we did for the transformation, as in translation, reflection, and rotation. We have to make this fold out like this, foldable cutout like this, where you're going to cut a piece of paper, and then from the dotted lines here you have to fold it through and then cut this open. Previously we did 3 sections. Now for this we have 2 sections, because in enlargement we know this, in the class what we did of enlargement, those were of 2 types. The 2 different types were when the center of enlargement is about the origin, which is the 0 point at a coordinate plane, and type number 2 is when the center of enlargement is not about the origin, which is the center of enlargement can be anything except for the origin 0. Okay, so start off with it. The first part is when center of origin is center of enlargement, when the center of enlargement is the origin 0. So when you flip it open, what you have to write here is, I'm going to read it out to you. The steps. Number 1, if the center of enlargement is the origin 0, then just multiply the scale factor with the coordinates of the object. Step number 2, plot the new coordinates after multiplying. Step number 3, if you draw a line with the corresponding points, it will all meet at the origin 0. Okay, now the steps that you have to write for this part, when the center of enlargement is not the origin. So when you flip it open, you have the steps written here. I'm going to read it out to you. Step number 1, subtract the coordinates of the center of enlargement from the coordinates of the object. Step number 2, multiply with the given scale factor. Step number 3, add the coordinates of the enlargement with the coordinates got from step number 2. Okay, so this is what you have to write for the steps. And now if you flip this open, you see previously as before, there were, in this section we have actually the questions to solve for. Okay, now another thing is, some of you asked me that you have run out of graph paper, and as for this situation we cannot go out to the stationery to get the graph paper, so it's very easy to make a graph paper just by drawing lines by yourself, and you can make a graph like this. So if you look very closely, I have drawn lines here, a series of horizontal and vertical lines. But if you look closely and listen to it very carefully, the distance between the line is exactly of the same measure. So I have taken 0.5 centimeter. I'm repeating again, I have taken 0.5 as in half centimeters as the distance of each of the lines, in the vertical lines also, in the horizontal line also. So you can take the measurement as you wish, but 0.5 is good enough. Same thing for the second part also. I've drawn a series of horizontal and vertical lines where the distance between the lines are 0.5 centimeters each. Okay, so to start off with the first question, where the center of enlargement is about the origin 0. So the question here says, enlarge the given object by a scale factor of 2 given the center of enlargement is at the origin 0. Okay, so this is the question. Now for the solution, if you go through this steps, when the center of enlargement is about the origin, it's very easy. Just multiply the scale factor with the coordinates of the object given. So here I have written initial objects are 2, 2, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4. After multiplying with the scale factor, SF here means scale factor. I have used an acronym here. Okay, So after multiplying this after multiplying with the scale factor, which is 2, with the coordinates of the object here, this blue box here is the square, is the object. So after multiplying, it is 4 4 8 4 8 8 and 4 8. Now this will be given to you. This blue box is the object here, and the pink one, the pink box is actually the enlarged form of this blue square here, and the scale factor is 2. And now if you read step number 3, and as we have previously done it in the classroom, if you draw a line from the corresponding points, corresponding point means if this is the square, this point here corresponds to this point here, this point here corresponds to this point here, this point here corresponds to this point here, and this point here corresponds to this point here. So if you draw lines from the corresponding points, they will all meet at the center of the origin, which was the center of enlargement. Okay, now for the second part. When the center of origin when the center of enlargement is not about the origin, the center of enlargement can be any. So what are the steps? As we have written previously, now let's go straight to the question here. Enlarge the given object by a scale factor of 2 given the center of enlargement is 1 2. So this blue square box is the object here. The center of enlargement is 1 2 and the scale factor is 2. Now if we remember the steps, or if we read through the steps, the first we write down the initial coordinates, which are from the coordinate grid. We can easily find out the coordinates of the object. So the initial coordinates are 2 2 4 2 4 4 2 4. Now step number 1 is subtracting. This minus sign here corresponds subtracting. Subtract the coordinates of enlargement, coordinates of enlargement center. Okay, so after subtracting the center of enlargement from the coordinates of the object given, so 2 minus 1 2 minus 2, so you do it yourself. Then after subtracting, I have got 1 0 3 0 3 2 1 2. Now step number 2 is multiplying with the scale factor. The scale factor was 2. So after you got the coordinates, by subtracting the center of enlargement, you multiply it with the scale factor 2. So after multiplying with 2, after multiplying with the scale factor 2 with this coordinates I have got from step 1, these are 2 0 6 0 6 4 2 4. Now step number 3. So after I have subtracted the center of enlargement and then multiplied with the scale factor, step number 3, we have to just add back the center of enlargement that we subtracted in step number 1. So after step number 2, I got this coordinates, just add the center of enlargement back with this coordinates here. So I have just added the center of enlargement, which was 1 2, with step number 2 here. So after adding back, the final coordinates are 3 2 7 2 7 6 and 3 6. Now what you have to do is just plot the points. So if you see very closely, this point here is actually on the object, so it doesn't matter, it can cross over whether we are enlarging or maybe rotating, any transformation. It is normal that the object and the object and the image can cross over. It can go over each other. It's very natural. Okay, so the first, after plotting all the points that we have here, this pink one here is the enlarged object of this blue box, and if you look very closely, it's the total box here. I haven't painted these two boxes here, these two boxes, but these two boxes also include this image here. Okay, so that is how you do enlargement in transformation, which are of two types. First type is when the center of enlargement is about the origin, and the second one is when the center of enlargement is not about the origin. Thank you so much for having the patience to bear up with me in this video. Take care.